She had nothing left, until a stranger showed her everything, a story that will touch your heart. Welcome back, dear friend. I am so glad you are here. I want to ask you something tonight, and I want you to answer it honestly, in your heart, without thinking too much. Have you ever felt completely alone, even when people were all around you? Have you ever reached a moment in your life where everything you had built, your plans, your confidence, your sense of who you were, simply collapsed, like a house of cards in the wind? And you were left sitting in the silence, wondering, what now? Is there anything left for me? If you have felt that, even once, then what I am about to tell you is for you. Because tonight's story is about a woman named Lena. She grew up on a quiet canal street in Amsterdam in the 1960s. She worked hard. She loved deeply. She lost everything. And then, in the most unexpected place, at the most unexpected moment, she found something she had never thought to look for. This is not a story about luck. It is not a story about talent. It is a story about what happens when an ordinary person, in the middle of their darkest chapter, chooses, somehow, to keep going. Make yourself comfortable. Take a slow breath. And let's begin. Part 1: The Canal Street Girl. Amsterdam is a city built on water. More than 100 kilometers of canals run through the city like a quiet conversation between the land and the sea. Old brick houses line the edges of the water, tall and narrow, leaning slightly forward, as if they are curious about the boats below. In autumn, the leaves from the elm trees fall onto the surface of the canals and drift slowly, like little golden boats going nowhere in particular. It was on one of these canal streets, Prinsengracht, in the heart of the old city, that Lena van der Burg was born in 1961. Her family lived in a narrow house above a small bookshop that her father owned and her mother helped to run. The shop was not famous. It did not sell rare books or expensive editions. It sold paperbacks and second-hand novels and children's books with soft covers worn smooth by many small hands. But it smelled of paper and possibility, and Lena grew up inside that smell the way other children grow up inside the smell of bread or cut grass. She was a quiet child, watchful, careful, with large grey eyes that noticed things other people missed. She noticed the way the canal light changed at different hours of the day. She noticed the expression on a customer's face when they found exactly the book they were looking for, that brief, private flash of recognition, like meeting an old friend. She noticed that her father always gave the same small discount to the elderly woman who came in on Friday mornings, and that he never mentioned it, and that the woman never thanked him, and that this arrangement seemed to satisfy both of them completely. She learned, early, that kindness is most powerful when it asks for nothing in return. Part 2: Building and Losing. Lena grew into a capable, serious young woman. She studied economics at the University of Amsterdam, not because she loved numbers, but because she loved the idea of understanding how the world actually worked. She was practical in the way that people who grow up in bookshops often are. She understood that ideas are only useful if they connect to real life. After university, she went to work for a small company that imported textiles from across Europe. She was good at her job. She was organized, reliable, and had the rare quality of being honest with people even when honesty was uncomfortable, which made her difficult sometimes and invaluable always. At 28, she married a man named Willem, a civil engineer, gentle and funny and deeply calm, the kind of person who makes the people around them feel that things will work out, even when the evidence suggests otherwise. They bought a small house in the Jordaan neighborhood, 3 streets from the canal where Lena had grown up, and they were, in the uncomplicated way of two people who genuinely like each other, happy. Then, in the winter of 1994, Willem was diagnosed with a serious illness. He fought it for 2 years. Lena was beside him through all of it, through the hospital visits and the treatments and the difficult days and the better days that always ended, somehow, in another difficult one. She worked her job. She took care of him. She held the household together with the same quiet competence she brought to everything. Willem died in the spring of 1996. He was 41 years old. Lena was 35. She took 2 weeks off work. Then she went back. She told herself that working was the best thing. That staying busy was the best thing. That the worst thing she could do was sit in the house on the Jordan Street and feel the silence where his voice used to be. For a year and a half, she managed. She was functional. She went to work. She visited her parents at the bookshop on Sundays. She ate dinner and slept and woke up and did it all again. But inside, slowly and silently, something had gone dark. Not dramatically, not in the way of films, with weeping and broken plates. Just quietly. The way a lamp dims when the power is low, so gradually that you do not notice until one day you reach for the switch, and the light that comes on is so faint you can barely read by it. By the autumn of 1997, Lena van der Berg, who had been so capable, so reliable, so quietly strong, was barely getting out of bed. Part 3, The Bench by the Water. One Tuesday morning in October, for no particular reason that she could later identify, Lena got dressed, put on her coat, and went outside. She did not have a plan. She simply walked. Down the Jordan streets, past the cheese shop and the flower market, and the little bridge where she and Willem used to stand sometimes in the evenings, and watch the houseboats, and then along the canal, until she reached a bench near the water and sat down. The morning was cold and bright. The canal was very still. A few pigeons walked importantly along the edge of the path. A cyclist went past, bell ringing. Somewhere nearby, someone was baking something. She could smell cinnamon and butter on the cold air. Lena Saturday. She looked at the water. She did not think about anything in particular. She simply existed. Which was, for the first time in a long time, enough. After perhaps 20 minutes, someone sat down at the other end of the bench. She glanced over. It was an old woman, perhaps 80, perhaps more, small and very upright, wearing a dark blue coat, and a hat that had probably been stylish 40 years ago, and had become, through sheer persistence, stylish again. She carried a canvas bag on her arm. She sat with great dignity, as if the bench were a throne she had personally chosen. She looked at Lena. She had very sharp blue eyes. "You look," said the old woman in Dutch, without any preamble at all, like someone who has forgotten who she is. Lena stared at her. It was such a strange thing to say. Such a direct, uninvited, completely accurate thing to say. "I am sorry," said Lena. "It is all right," said the old woman comfortably. "I looked like that once too. It passes." She opened her canvas bag, took out a small paper bag of stroopwafels, the thin Dutch caramel waffle biscuits, and held it out to Lena. Lena took one, because she did not know what else to do. "My name is Marta," said the old woman. "I come to this bench every Tuesday. The light is good here in the morning." She looked at the canal. "Who did you lose?" Lena opened her mouth to say something polite and deflecting. Instead, she said, "My husband. A year and a half ago." "Ah," said Marta. Not with pity. Simply with recognition. "I lost mine in 1963. We had 11 years together. I thought the world had ended." She looked at the water. It had not ended. It had simply changed shape. Part 4, Tuesdays by the Canal. They talked for 2 hours that morning. Lena could not have told you, afterwards, everything they discussed. It was not one conversation with a clear beginning and a clear end. It was more like a river, moving from one place to another, sometimes fast and sometimes slow, sometimes doubling back on itself, but always moving. Marta had been a school teacher for 38 years. She had taught children to read in a school 3 streets away, A school that was still there, still teaching, with different children and different teachers, and the same small desks that had been replaced twice since her time. She had raised 2 children alone after her husband died. She had traveled, late in life, to Portugal, to Greece, to a small island off the coast of Scotland that she described as the most beautiful and the most relentlessly cold place she had ever been. She had learned to paint watercolors at the age of 72, because she had always wanted to and could think of no good reason not to. "Were you not afraid?" Lena asked. "Starting something so new, at 72. Marta looked at her with those sharp blue eyes. "Of course," she said. "I was terrible at it for a very long time. My first paintings looked like something a child had made during a thunderstorm." She smiled. "But I was not painting to be good. I was painting to be alive." Lena went home that Tuesday afternoon and ate a proper meal for the first time in weeks. She did not know exactly why. She simply felt, for the first time in a long time, that the world contained other people, real people, with whole lives and whole losses and whole continuing stories, and that she was still one of them. She came back the following Tuesday. Marta was there, same bench, same time, same dark blue coat, same paper bag of stroopwafels. They talked again. And the Tuesday after that. And the Tuesday after that. Slowly, so slowly that Lena could never have pointed to the exact moment it happened, things began to change. She went back to work, properly this time, fully present rather than moving through the days like a ghost. She called old friends she had stopped returning messages from. She visited her parents more often. She found herself, one Sunday afternoon, standing in her living room looking at Willem's books on the shelf, and instead of turning away, she took one down and read it. And cried. And was all right. She began to write, too, something she had never done before. Not stories. Just pages. Private, messy, honest pages about what the last 3 years had been like, what she had lost, what she had not lost, what she was slowly, carefully, finding her way back to. Marta, when Lena told her, said simply, "Good." Writing things down makes them real and manageable at the same time. It is very useful. Part 5, What she built. The following year, Lena left her job at the textile company. It was a decision that frightened her and felt, at the same time, completely obvious, the way the right decisions often do, arriving not with great fanfare, but with a quiet, steady certainty. She had been thinking, for some time, about her father's bookshop. About the elderly woman who came on Friday mornings and the small discount her father gave her and never mentioned. About the way a book placed in the right hands at the right moment could open something in a person that had been closed. About all the people she could imagine, people like herself, 6 months ago, sitting alone in their houses, disconnected from the world, needing something to hold. She spent 6 months planning. She found a small space on a side canal, not Prinsengracht, but close, with good light, and a blue door that she repainted herself on a sunny Saturday in March. She borrowed a little money from her parents, who asked no questions and required no interest. She called it Dinsdag, the Dutch word for Tuesday. It was not exactly a bookshop. It was not exactly a community center. It was a room with comfortable chairs and good lamps and shelves of carefully chosen books, where people could come and sit and read and talk or not talk, as they preferred. On Tuesday mornings, Lena ran a reading group, open to everyone, no experience required, no judgment offered. She made coffee. She chose books that had something real inside them. Narrator, warm and full. This is the bloom of everything that came before. People came. Slowly at first, a handful, then a dozen, then more. They were different ages, different backgrounds, different languages. Some were recently arrived in Amsterdam. Some had lived there all their lives. Some came because they were lonely. Some came because they loved books. Some came because they had seen the blue door from the canal path and were simply curious. They all came back. Marta came too, every Tuesday, naturally, transferring her bench time to an armchair by the window where the light was, as she approved, very good. She was 83 by then, moving a little more slowly, but with the same upright posture, and the same sharp blue eyes, and the same complete absence of small talk that Lena had come to find more comforting than anything else in the world. One Tuesday morning in the spring of 2005, Marta did not come. Lena found out later that afternoon. Marta had died peacefully in the night. She was 87 years old. She had been, her daughter told Lena on the phone, in very good spirits the previous week. She had been learning, apparently, to take photographs on a small digital camera someone had given her. She said she wanted to try something new, her daughter said. Lena sat quietly with that for a long time. That evening, after closing, Lena sat alone in the room with the comfortable chairs and the good lamps. The canal outside was dark and still. The last of the autumn leaves were on the water. She thought about a bench on a Tuesday morning. A paper bag of stroopwafels. An old woman with sharp blue eyes who sat down without being asked and said exactly the right true thing. She thought about how close she had been, in the autumn of 1997, to simply disappearing into the silence. How thin the thread had been. And how one person, one ordinary, extraordinary person, had reached across a bench on a cold morning and held the other end of it. She looked around the room. At the books on the shelves, at the chairs, at the blue door, at the soft lamp in the window that people could see from the canal path when they walked past in the evenings. A small light. A visible warmth. She had built this because of Marta. She knew that. But she also knew, and this was the thing that filled her chest with something large and quiet and grateful, that Marta had not built it for her. Marta had simply sat down on a bench and offered a stroopwafel and told the truth. The rest was Lena. The rest had always been Lena. You do not need to be saved. You only need someone to sit beside you, while you remember how to save yourself. She turned off the lamp. She locked the blue door. She walked home through the Amsterdam evening, along the canal where the last gold leaves were drifting slowly on the dark water. And for the first time in a very long time, she felt, completely and quietly, like herself. Moral of the story. You do not always need grand rescues or dramatic turning points. Sometimes a single person who sits with you in your silence, without fixing, without judging, without asking for anything, is enough to bring you back. Be that person for someone. And if you are the one sitting alone on the bench, keep showing up. Your Tuesday is coming. Thank you so much for listening today. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Whether you are here to improve your English, to find a little peace at the end of a long day, or simply because you love a good story, you are always welcome here, and I am always glad you came.